Hello everybody, it is Calxiyn here and welcome to our video today. I've never done an introduction like that before, I don't know why I'm starting now. Anyway, thank you to our patrons, Jackson, Academy Professor Jackson, Academy Professor Edwin, Huntsman Flashy, New Recruit Solly, Rage Factor 13, and Rooter. Oh boy.
She doesn't read that. That's memory.
I know, but
That's
I have to
impressive.
look off into the corner to, like, remember everybody. Anyway, so, I need to beat some Borbatus, so we're on Yang on Eclipse mode. I will die a lot. I'm sorry. Anyway, so this is another How We Handled. Hunter has never done this one before because it's a series that I made up when he wasn't here. So anyway, today we are going to talk about how they handled Yang's arm. And that means that, you know, we knew that Yang may get a new arm. We weren't really sure about it, but then they just kind of gave her one out of the blue. And so we're just going to talk about if we liked how they decided to handle Yang's armlessness and what we would do differently and things like that. And so let's get started. So I'll lead into the conversation since you weren't here last time we did this.
But I mean I guess we start with, like, do you think it was gonna happen? I think everyone thought it was gonna happen.
I didn't think that they were gonna give it to her.
Because after season 3 there was so much fan art of Yang having a robotic
But they don't
arm.
look at the fan art.
I mean, they don't, but I mean, they don't look at the fan art, but I'm saying that a lot of people drew it. A lot of people liked what people were drawing, so a lot of people
here's why I didn't think
or expected or theorized that she was going to get a robot arm.
I thought that they would have a problem with it because it was an easy fix to Yang's, like, disability. And so I thought that instead they would have had Yang learn to be strong without it. And in the concept art, it shows that plug that was over her arm, right? And so that was a fake out.
It looked like a spiked nub, and I'm like, that spiked nub.
Yeah, and so she wore it. She did wear it once. But I thought that that was going to become something that she didn't want the arm. She didn't want the help. She wanted to get to be strong without it. She didn't want kind of the assistance from the arm.
They did sort of do that.
But
in a way, she was depressed and she didn't want to, like, go forward with it.
Yeah, but I thought she wasn't gonna have it at all. I thought she was gonna leave it behind at home when she left. Like, I thought she just put it on to make her dad happy, and then once she was out of the nest, she would be like, okay.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, it would have been cool if they just had Nub Yang fucking people up. Although you could see the logistics of it's difficult to punch people when you're missing an arm.
Yeah, I know. But you know what I meant, like, I know, I didn't think it was gonna happen. I thought that they were going to do what I already said. But that's just me, and I don't know.
I really liked Yang's sort of character arc, how she sort of got out of a bit of a depression to go and continue to fight. I think, what do you think as a character made it so difficult for Yang to accept maybe the arm?
I don't know. It's just
was
like,
it fear? Because you.
I don't think it was fear. I thought.
Because you saw that she had really bad PTSD over it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the idea that she would have to go out and fight again, and
maybe
that robotic arm, you know, represented.
I'm not sure. I know why I didn't like it. I don't know why Yang didn't. Like, I feel like her dad kind of peer pressured her a little bit to do it, but at the same time, yeah, I don't really know. Like,
wouldn't you peer pressure your kid?
I mean, if they don't want,
you're missing an arm. That is a robotic arm.
I guess, but I feel like she said that she lost a part of herself, and that part could easily just be replaced. Like, that rubbed me the wrong way. You know what I mean?
I don't think she meant, like, the part of herself being her arm.
I mean, she gestured to her arm, I'm pretty sure, during that scene.
Yeah, but I think, okay.
Or that's what it implied, right?
Yeah, but I think it implies more, like, of her bravery, because after that, she lost, because think about it, if Yang hadn't got hurt like that, Yang would have been immediately with RWBY, chasing after Cinder. She would have been with the remainder of Team Juniper. But that's not what happened.
Yeah.
She got hurt. She realized that she couldn't, you know, really save Blake. She lost a lot of her confidence.
That's what I would have done differently, though.
I think that's when she mentioned about losing something about herself. I think that's what she's referring to.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
yes,
true.
she lost an arm, but she also lost, I think, something a little more integral to her personality.
Oops. But yeah, that's just, for you guys that are confused, I keep going out to check how many I've killed. That's why I keep exiting out of the game. But that's what I would do differently, is I would have had it so she didn't want it and she left without it. Like, that she just put it on to make her dad happy, but she wanted to be strong without any outside help. And I feel like that would be Yang's, like, stubbornness. It wouldn't make any, like, real logical sense, but I think that why it wouldn't work in this case is because Tai had, like, kind of this talk with her that he focused a lot on, I guess, on logic, you know what I mean? Like, when he talked about how her semblance was a huge temper tantrum and she wasn't thinking, like, leaving without the arm, I feel, would be an action that would mean that she wasn't thinking, that she would think that she's still invincible and all that stuff, but Tai kind of shut that idea down, you know what I mean? And so I feel like they had a good reason for not doing it in the context of how Tai talked to her, because Tai made a good point there. And that, like, after that talk, I couldn't see her being like, well, fuck you, Dad, like, I'm gonna be strong without the arm anyway, you know, because Tai, like, she obviously...
An objectively stupid move.
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like Tai, you know, he got through to her, and so I feel like that was important. But in my perfect world, Tai never said that, and other things happened that would have made it so Yang... Did you see that?
Yeah.
So Yang...
You got mounted by a boar buff.
So Yang didn't want the arm at all. Like, if I had to rewrite, that would be something that I would have to rewrite, right? Like, because that's something that I couldn't keep.
How would you do it?
I would have it so Tai Yang kind of, I don't know, forced her a bit more, like, not obvious, because I don't think that how he did it was obvious, but that she was, like, more smiley, like, okay, Dad, I'll put the arm on if it's what I want, if it's what you want me to do. Like, not have the temper tantrum talk, because then she would still be stubborn and that wouldn't have gotten through to her. Like, he wouldn't have told her what she needed to hear or anything like that, and so she wouldn't be thinking straight, like, logically. And so she would be like, okay, Dad, I'm going now, and, like, as she's on the motorcycle, as soon as she hits Mistral, that arm goes into a ditch somewhere and we never see it again. Like, that is what I would have wanted, but I like how they handled it this way.
No, I like what they, because...
I do like what they did, but I'm saying that if I had to choose...
No,
like,
I'm saying that your idea is dumb, because then she would be fighting with a nub. Which,
but
I mean,
she would have her other arm, right?
Yeah, but she would have only one arm.
But I wanted
She would be a cripple trying to kill an international terrorist.
I wanted her to find extra strength in, like, without it. Like, there was something else, is that with Yang's arm, some people also drew fan art of flame coming out of the nub.
Okay.
And so when she attacked, she would basically have a phantom arm that was made of fire. And so I would like if that was something that she unlocked, I guess.
That could be cool. Reminded me of a character from Legend of Korra.
That's probably where it came from. But that is what I would want instead. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want her to just be without the nub forever. I want her to find some kind of strength inside herself that doesn't mean she has to replace the arm, because obviously she lost it. Like, the physical part's not coming back. But if she had a phantom arm that was made of fire, that was reminiscent of the one, like, it's almost like the one she lost came back for revenge or something, like in the flame.
With that said, I do think maybe it's likely that the arm will break if she's ever in a fight with Adam again. I could see something like that happen.
And so I don't want you guys to think I just wanted Yang to be illogical, and just, like, run into the fields without her. No, I have a plan. Like, I have a 6-step plan on how the arc would go differently with what I suggested. Like, first it would be an act of stubbornness and like no logic and stuff like that, and then it would turn into, like, you know how people say that Yang's based off of Phoenix, like, rising from the ashes? Like, almost her arm rose from the ashes and started
People
at
also
fire.
say that RWBY should fuck Crow.
Okay,
you know?
but you know what I mean? Like, it's just... That was just, in my perfect world, that is how I would want them to do it differently, but that doesn't mean my way's better. I like the way that they did in the show.
Also, I feel like
I
with
do
that,
like that way, but you did.
Also, I
but
feel
one of
like-
the questions for this one is, how would you do it differently? That's how. I'm not saying it's the right way, but it's the way I would do it.
I think, well, I personally really just enjoyed what they did. I enjoyed that. I think with your route, they wouldn't have that self-doubt and trying to overcome that.
Yeah, that's true.
With that said, I mean, my biggest takeaway from that is that don't underestimate, I guess, the fan artist, because everything, repainting it yellow and black, having it be Atlas technology, all of that people had theorized and guessed pretty.
Something else
pretty
I would
accurately.
change would be Ironwood coming personally to deliver it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but then then it's like, okay, you were all busy in Atlas, but then you came down here for some reason?
Yeah, but what I was thinking was that maybe that is how Weiss would have gotten back to Vale, is that in my head, after they got the arm from Ironwood, what I thought was, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Ironwood had come himself, and then Weiss would have smuggled herself over and then have been with Yang going to Mistral for the rest of the... That's kind of how I would change also, I guess, Weiss's storyline, but that would affect the story. You know what I mean? Because Weiss eventually did get taken over there, but imagine if it happened a little bit earlier and there was some, like, Weiss regrouping. Because right now, Weiss is just gonna be by herself and she's looking for Winter, but imagine if she was searching for Yang, right? Like, that would be something. That'd be something. Or if she just, like, Ironwood, like, came down on the ship and Weiss popped out, like, hey, bitch, like, guess what? You're not taking me home, Ironwood.
Here's an arm,
And
let's
now,
skedaddle.
and, like, I also kind of, like...
And then what? Weiss would have, like, Weiss and...
a pseudo-family time, and that would also mean that Weiss gets to experience what a real father is.
Or
a
like
loving, kind father.
Or like
Yang.
Weiss or Yang Weiss would give Yang the arm, Yang and Weiss would skedaddle, and then they'd have, like, a journey of learning about each other, and Freezer Burn would be confirmed, and everyone would win.
No, but yes, like, that is another thing that I would have changed, but... in terms of...
made it more gay.
No.
No one saw that one
I
coming.
meant having Weiss involved, because we thought Ironwood was gonna smuggle her out, right? Like,
Yeah.
that was what we thought for a long time. That would have been an easy way for Ironwood to have smuggled her somewhere else and for the team to regroup a little bit. But that would cause, like, the story parts to change, because I would want that to happen more near, like, the end times, and obviously Yang got the arm near the beginning of the volume, and so, you know, there's a lot of story stuff that I can't go in detail in this video that would have to change in order to do all that. You know what I mean? And so...
So in conclusion, I think we both kind of liked how it came out.
yeah, like, getting away from what I would do differently, I did like...
I really liked
how
it.
they handled, again, like you said, the self-doubt, how, oh god, I just forgot. How they handled the self-doubt,
yeah.
how she
Fear,
repainted it to make it her own. Like, that was a good... because before it was just kind of this piece of metal that didn't really belong with her, and then she made it so it was a part of her and stuff like that. Like, I did enjoy everything that you have already said. I just kind of have my own thought for how... like, obviously there's a way that I would write it, and that doesn't mean my way's better, it's just my way, right? And so I do like all of the stuff that you mentioned that, you know... I really like painting the arm because she made it hers, right? Like, before it was just kind of this thing that she attached to herself, but then it was really something that she decided that she would almost take pride in, and so I think that's, yeah, I feel like that's good, you know? Like, it's just, I like the way they did it. I don't have any problems with how they did it, let's put it that way. Like, even though I would do it differently, that doesn't mean I dislike how they did it now. I graduated to level 7. Anyway, is there anything else that you want to talk about regarding her arm? Like, we haven't seen it in action. That would have been nice. Like, she kind of punched Tai a bit, but it'd be nice if a Grimm somehow came up to the house and he was like, okay, like, here's our first test run of this. You know what I mean? Unlock 8 mystery challenges. I don't know what that is. Kill some androids. Oh boy. This is a lot of work. But yeah. So I think that we're pretty much good, aren't we? I know I had a list of questions for Al because I was worried that he wouldn't do things right. And because last week when we talked about Crow's semblance, we kind of went, how do you think her arm is gonna work with her semblance? Do you think that it's gonna work the same way, or do you think that her arm is not gonna be all glowy?
I mean, probably, who knows, it's like Atlas, so they could be like, I mean, because they were able to have a robot, Penny, that could have an aura, so presumably it would work for, presumably they know how to, like, integrate their technology.
Because her thing is only, like, her strength comes from her body, right? So I wouldn't, like, I don't know how it would transfer into her, but obviously, yeah, you said that it's, like, that was the best arm that, like, money could buy in Atlas, you know what I mean? But there's something else interesting that comes up here, is that they had a prosthetic ready. So how often does this happen to people? Well, I mean, that Grim tear off limbs and shit?
Probably. I mean, look at Ironwood. He had prosthetic.
Yeah, Ironwood's, like, half prosthetic, right? And so I like that element, too, that they decided to... I guess I wouldn't say that's a hint, but that's interesting that was already a developed feature. That means somebody else. And also, the fact that Ironwood...
It's not like they came out of nowhere with, okay, now you have like, there was precedent for robotic limbs.
And the fact that Ironwood also has half prosthetic, I feel like that he could relate to Yang and Yang's struggle of losing her arm, and that's why he shipped it over there so fast. And so that's something interesting that I like how they kept in. So, you know, if the question is how they handled it...
Ironwood is showing a little more, maybe a little more...
Niceness?
Maybe that's his way of saying, like...
Yes, his heart's growing.
his heart grew 3 sizes that day.
That's
maybe
exactly
that's his way of acknowledging, yeah, I was wrong about sort of my military action. What I did sort of led to this, the fall of Beacon.
Yeah.
That could be his penance. He's a little less aggressive about all that.
Maybe.
Anyways.
He's trying to right his wrongs. But yeah, for how they handled it, what are we gonna give?
Oh, no.
A 10?
Yeah.
No, good? They like, are we doing a word or are we doing a number?
No, they did well. They did really well.
Yeah. All right. So there you guys go. This is how we feel about Yang's arm. Anyway, guys, I want to go through my whole spiel thing. So first, again, thank you to everybody that did participate in the water live streams last week. This is a pre-recorded video since Hunter's going on vacation. There's we're still doing the water streams. There's still streams going on. But by the time you guys see this, they'll be over. And so I want to say again, thank you for everybody that kind of watched those and donated and did all that stuff. I'm sure my class will be very happy when we get back to school. Anyway, there are Kingdom Hearts videos going on right now, hopefully, because of Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 being ported onto the PS4, and so if you guys are interested in Kingdom Hearts, you should definitely watch those. Don't worry, the RWBY videos will not be affected. And finally, thank you again to our Patreons, Academy Professors Jackson, Buchanan, and Edwin, Huntsman, Flashy, new recruits, Sully, Rooter, and Rate Factor 13. So anyway, guys, that is it from us for today. If you like this video, give us suggestions on other ideas for the series, because we're just kind of making this one up as we go. We don't have a list of topics that we want to cover for how we handled, so it would be nice to get some suggestions. Anyway, guys, that is it from us, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.